What if you listen to all the albums that the Needle Drop reviews? Nirvana? A higher experience of the world? Veganism? What does a day in the life of the busiest music nerd look like? Let's settle. What about a month? What about listening to every album that the Needle Drop reviews for a month? That's roughly 20 albums at 5 a week. Why would we do this? Who is the Needle Drop? Why the Needle Drop? Anthony Fantano is a music reviewer, meme pursuer, melon maneuverer from Connecticut, America that produces music reviews for YouTube. Named the most successful music critic by Spin, he is an unmatched internet presence with a passionate audience. He has toured America presenting music and memes and released a free parody mixtape. For his work, he's gotten rises from Wale, Lil Xan, and others. Anthony Fantano was summarized by Robert Kreisgau as a death grips loving dark progger who was good at using the internet, who he barely recognized and only knew when he glanced over his Wikipedia page. Truly a Renaissance man. Why the Needle Drop? His reviews cover a wide variety of music, from US hip-hop to Japanese ambient to Icelandic art pop and everywhere in between. He publishes hundreds of album reviews each year, and scores range from 0 to 10 with the occasional non-score of not good. So it was likely that the music over the month was going to be multinational, frequent, good and bad, with a variety of genres, which is ideal for exploring the world of music. Naturally, the best way to go about this challenge is to find other people at my musical power level, and with some different musical backgrounds. So I found 3 other white dudes who like hip-hop: Thomas, Micah, and Adam. Several months ago, I pitched the idea to my friends to listen to every album that Anthony Fantano reviews on the Needle Drop for a month. Everyone was familiar with the Needle Drop or fans of the reviews, and they were down to go. With quarantine in full effect, we had plenty of time to listen to music, so it turned out to be the perfect opportunity while everyone was looking to keep active. My friends and I are nowhere near the most informed about reviewing music. We all know the best way to start is to find your opinion, right? I picked some comments surrounding the albums to highlight some of the thoughts during the month. The first week we were getting a feeling for talking about what we enjoyed and what we found important for an album. The first week also had 2 insanely high points for my friends and I in The Strokes' The New Abnormal and Laura Marling's Song for Our Daughter, as well as the meme benchmark for the week in Blade's Exeter.
So for The Strokes, The New Abnormal, the first 4 tracks are some of the best alt-rock songs ever, and then while the album does drop off after that, it's still really strong.
Words aren't very important to me. Yeah, some of these lines were meh, but I'm like, sure, whatever.
Week 2 saw more strong albums with Rina Sawayama's Sawayama and Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Fetch the Bolt Cutters was the first major divergence in thoughts amongst reviewers. There was an awakening in Adam, and Micah had some thoughts on the lyrics in the Takeuchi's To Feel Alive EP.
All of them are I can read the title of the song, and I can know what the chorus is because they're that sticky. And I listened to this album 3 times.
I think this album is a better art project than album I would listen to. So I kind of have a hard time rating it because I think it's very good at getting the message across that it's trying to get. But I'm not going to listen to this. I don't know what mood I would have to be in to want to listen to this.
I can tell you guys why I like the album.
Okay.
So I Want You to Love Me. I thought the pianos in that track were phenomenal, so enjoyable to listen to. They were just so catchy. The da 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 da, and it would, the ups and downs were beautiful. My brother plays piano, so I have a attachment to that instrument whenever I hear it in just about anything. For me, at least, the I Want You to Love Me song is her begging others to love her. She wants this affection, she wants to be known, she's accepted. And in the end, when the breakdown occurs, for me, it's a I want you to love me despite my imperfections and my weirdness, right?
I thought the first time through, I didn't like it, and low-key it scared me. I went on a run with it, and I had it on my headphones, and the whole time I was looking behind me, am I good? But I don't know. The second time I just listened to it sitting in my room, and just there are some parts that maybe you just want to headbang.
The only standout thing I have to say about it is the line, yes. How can I give a damn if I don't give a fuck? And that's a fist bump tier line. Sonic Force's fist bump. It's bad.
The third week started with a bang from Danzig Sings Elvis, a showstopper from Chris Keys and Quelle Chris's Innocent Country 2, and massive confusion on Black Dress's Peaceful as Hell.
it wasn't good. Like, no parts of this.
You slap some auto tune on me, and I'm good to go, baby.
Bro, you don't even need the auto tune. Just hold the tune.
It wasn't like good guitar. It was like your youth group's like pastor playing the guitar, and he's like doing the best he can.
And I think the best song I've heard this year was Graphic Bleed Out.
Okay.
Just gosh, like when that, like the first time I heard that instrumental, like so like first time I was like looking at the deeper, I had the lyrics up, and I saw that, and like on Genius, it literally says amazing instrumental right in the middle of it. I'm like, oh, let's see what we got. And then it hits, and I'd like stand up and walk across the room. I'm like, oh my goodness, what the heck? Beautiful Friendship, parentheses, definitely not beautiful. I'm a freak because I'm always freaked out. This song kind of freaked me out. Mirror Girl. At this point, this is just noise, right? And then after Sharp Halo, I thought, do people actually like this stuff? So
Yes.
The only message I can get from these 3 songs is I like to shop at Hot Topic. And
Ouch.
After 3 weeks of music, we concluded with one of the most popular albums covered in the month in Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes, and a passionate tirade from Thomas over how small but unforgivable mistakes in an album can ruin your feelings towards the music in Dope Body, Homebody.
I mean, every song's kind of the same. It's a Drake song, and it's gonna sound this way, and then it's over, and you're like, man, I really wish this album was over. Dear God, I hated those interludes. The only interesting interlude was ESD, because at least it made me laugh. And that was it. All of the other ones were trash. They were 1 out of 10. They were the lowest score I could possibly give a piece of thing that would call itself music. It infuriates me. Because I actually like the other tracks. I think the other tracks on the album, I pretty much gave every other track other than Living Room like a 7 or an 8 on the album. But those interludes are so bad that I do not like the album. That's how bad they are. If it was a 9-track album that was 26 minutes long, it'd probably get like an 8 or like a strong 8. Instead, it's going to get like a light 4.
In the months since reviewing the album, I have gathered some of the statistics from the videos of the needle drop that we covered. At this point, it's already a little bit out of date, but the general numbers have relatively stayed the same. The Strokes received the most likes with 18,000, while Fiona Apple received the most dislikes at 6.6 thousand. Almost 7k dislikes for the 7 that he gave the album. Elder received the least likes at 1.6k, and Quelle Chris and Chris Keys received the least dislikes at 34. Laura Marling had the highest like to dislike ratio at 87.5 likes to 1 dislike. Fiona Apple had the lowest like to dislike ratio of 2.27 likes to 1 dislike. The Drake video saw the highest view count at 484,000, while also being the lowest numbered rating for the month at a 3. The least viewed album was Elder Omens with 67,000 views. The shortest album was Kali Uchis, which came in at 10 minutes, and the longest album was Innocent Country 2 with 1 hour and 3 minutes. At the end of the month, I posed a few questions to my friends. What was your favorite album cover? What album engaged you the most? And which album interested you the most? Adam's favorite album cover was Umbra Vitae's for Shadow of Life, and Thomas, Micah, and I enjoyed Igor's album cover for Spirituality and Distortion. For most interesting album, Thomas and Micah both found Black Dress's Endless Wound, while Adam picked Innocent Country 2 and I picked Song for Our Daughter. The most engaging album, Thomas and I found Fetch the Bolt Cutters to be the most thought-provoking, while Adam invested in Sawayama and Micah examined Innocent Country 2. The group's rankings for albums vary from the top 6-ish, but afterwards the same albums generally shake out. The Strokes, Laura Marling, Rina Sawayama, and Quelle Chris and Chris Keys consistently ranked in the top 6 for all 4 reviewers for the month. The most positive reviewer was Adam with an average score of 5.9. He was the only person to be more positive than Fantano for albums, and the second week was the preferred week of all reviewers, except for Micah, who preferred the first week. The average album scores across all reviewers was 5.71, so the month was slightly positive, and the scores across all reviewers range from 10 to 0, so 5.71 is a favorable outcome when using the full range of the 10-point scale. The month played out like clockwork. The needle drop covered music from predominantly the US, but with over a fourth of reviews from international musicians, published 5 reviews every week for the month of the challenge. The lowest numbered score was 1.3 and the highest were 2 9s and an average score of 5.9. The genres covered were hip-hop, rock, pop, metal, and terrible rockabilly. Holy cow, that Danzig album was hot cheeks. And the genres I listed are super general. Most of, if not all of the albums are subdivisions of a genre or blend several genres and are not easily defined. This challenge was basically a musical Murph, where instead of doing excessive exercise for a hero, it's a mountain of music from a melon. The runtime for all albums was 13 hours and 45 minutes. With 5 albums to cover in a week, everyone was still looking to put in 5 to 10 hours if you listen to each album 1 to 2 times. The experience was about like going to your first college party, and it's cool and all, and then you see Anthony Fantano do a keg stand, and you think, I could do that, and you kind of succeed. It's not exactly like you remember what happened, but you think you enjoyed it, and then you join a cult. Does that make sense? Listening to an album with minimal context and having it on in the background is quite different than researching the artist and giving full attention to the music. During the challenge, I spent more time thinking and just listening to music and reading lyrics than I ever have, and it was still missing additional research, such as listening to an artist's other works for getting more context. If you have the time to listen to a month's worth of albums reviewed by the Needle Drop or any reviewer for that matter, I could not recommend it more. Listening to every album reviewed means that you might find music worth loving, even if you have some that will be difficult to listen to. I listen to music and artists that I wouldn't have otherwise. Between all of us, the majority would only have listened to 21% of the albums that we covered. Listening to an album and finding how you feel before a review can also give you a relationship to an album and an ownership to your own thoughts. Along with this, when listening, my friends and I would often find an album that was well made and interesting, but at the same time not be interested personally on a subjective view. Making this distinction shows that you put in the effort to honestly look at an album and try to find something that you could appreciate from it. You never know what might grow on you after several listens though. Another benefit of taking on a challenge like this is figuring out your relation to a reviewer, which helps give you an idea for taking a risk on listening to an album. Knowing your own taste can be used to compare and contrast with reviewers to find where you have common ground and to find where you disagree. This allows you to better identify things that are important and interest you. Not every album is worth the listen, so knowing where to spend your time is important. At the same time, listening to bad albums provides its own kind of knowledge. Kind of like Adam and Eve with the apple. The knowledge may haunt you in the future. It's surprising how often we would talk about things that we noticed about mixing or audio issues in some albums. It makes you trust your ears more, and I found myself appreciating the effort that some people put into making their albums run without unintentional audio distractions. Finally, sharing your perspectives and having a conversation about albums also helps to further expand your world. Even with 3 other people that are similar to me, we frequently saw albums differently. I have gone back and listened to a few albums because of what the others found that I didn't. If you're looking for a place to share your views, you could always go to a music subreddit such as Fantano Heads, or you could come and talk with me and the boys. The Needle Drop Challenge is over, but we are now suggesting our personal favorite albums every other Sunday at twitch.tv/thatsimplemachine. My friends and I are still a little wild about reviewing albums, but we enjoy talking about them, and I feel like we become a little bit more informed over the course of the month about music, reviewing, and reviewers.
And then after that, you have songs that have a lot more of very different percussion with like, I don't know what type of percussion is, but it's something where you would like hit it.
And that's percussion.
Well, you know what I mean. It's like a drum that you hit with your hands. There we go.
I mean, you hit. That's what percussion means.
No, with your hands. Hold up. No. So like a drum set, you got sticks. You know, you hit things with sticks. And then other drums, you hit things with your hands. You know what I mean? Like bongos or like other drums.
Okay.
All I can think of is bongos. Okay, it's not bongos, but whatever it is, there's like a different
conga drums or something.
Maybe, yeah. It's like a different percussive setup.